I guess the state of Indiana was like, where's his bang? Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, the Minnesota Lynx being undefeated to them not being undefeated anymore now that they played my beloved Seattle Storm. It's Adam Amawala. Adam, how's it going?
It's going well. I guess not as well as it's going for the Seattle Storm, but...
Ooh, we've had an all right season, but we have slain the beast, at least one of the two beasts that was undefeated.
Yeah.
And the Lynx are undefeated no longer. The Storm have conquered them thanks to the defensive prowess of our new rookie. It was Malonga madness as she put the clamps on Nafisa Collier, which was pretty sweet. So that was some good times.
Yeah. I still feel like everyone thinks it's going to be the finals matchup in the WNBA that it seems like it will be, but hey, that could change.
But at least we can hang the banner for we stopped them from being undefeated. I should see, when do we play the Liberty? Because it would be very fun if whenever we play them next, they're still undefeated. And if we can defeat the two undefeated teams, that'd be great. But
do you know off the top of your head what the best record ever in the WNBA was, like percentage-wise?
I think it was that year the Aces won. Like, I want to say like their first or second.
Yeah.
One during that Aces two-peat. I think it was one of those. Let me just Google it. Best WNBA record.
Because it's a short enough season that like there have been times where people got like, you know, I feel like
just kidding. In '98, the Houston Comets went 27-3.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. So
22-3.
In 22-3, the Aces had the record for most wins in a season. They had 34, and then you have that '98 Comets team 27-3. That is a 900 winning.
And they won the championship.
90%. Right? Yes. Oh, yes, they did.
Wow. Amazing.
That's ridiculous. But yes, it is tricky because look, I think that was a MB Q&A question that we had once was, has a team ever gone completely undefeated? And it's like not impossible. Like it could happen. The Liberty could do it this year. It would be tricky.
The fewer the games, the more likely it is of happening. But all that to say, bring back the Comets. How about that?
Please. All right, so let's get ready to talk about more basketball stuff. And in order to do so, we got to go to the Teal Memorial locker room. They've got banners for all sorts of fun stuff in there. So many banners.
Yeah, and I hear the Knicks are trying to hire their coach.
Hey, look, we're just doing our due diligence.
I understand. But
you know who else is doing their due diligence?
I would say our patrons are, and specifically, and most importantly, our producer level patrons. We love all of you, but especially those of you who give us extra money.
Yes, of course. Shout out to everyone listening. Shout out to everyone supporting on Patreon. Super shout out to our producer level patrons, Polly Burridge, Salvatore Testa, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry for 3 more seasons.
Just speculating. It's not based on anything, but, you know, frankly, I'm running out of ideas. And also, that seems about right. I hope it's more than that, but who can say?
I hope he plays forever. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Bulls to the Bulls, Mats Furuli, and Utah Jash. And you know who else can help you with your due diligence?
Tab for a Cause.
Sure. Yeah, that works. So if you go to tabforacause.org/horse, you can install it. It's a browser extension, just a couple of clicks to get it going. And then every time you open a tab, you get a nice, pretty background. And you might see some ads in the corner, but those ads raise money for charity. And you choose which charities get supported. It's pretty cool. So we'll do our tab check. I'm at 4 tabs. What are you looking at?
I'm going to give a rough estimate of about 15, which feels like a light day for me.
Yeah, light day. So you can channel your tab energy into good at tabforacause.org/horse. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon, where you get access to episodes without these inserted ads, it's time for some inserted ads. And once they're complete, we'll get back into this episode of Horse. Adam, what's going on in your world of performing?
This will be a shorter one than usual because I have just completed a long run of a bunch of shows. So to everybody I saw out there, great to see you. In terms of It is pretty light for once, which is frankly nice, and I'm looking forward to that. But the upcoming stuff that I have, I will be in Chicago the weekend of July 17th through 19th. I may be in Montreal over the summer, so nothing official there yet, but working on that currently. Then beyond that, I've got some stuff in September. So in September, I will be in Connecticut. I will also be in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm working on a couple other Ohio dates. And I think that's mostly it for now. There'll certainly be more stuff added as we move along, but for the time being, that's what I got. What about you?
I have a new show added. I don't know if I teased it as a potential last time or not, but I've got a show happening in Salt Lake City at the end of June. So June 29th, Sunday afternoons at 3 p.m., we're doing a TNO live show in Salt Lake City. So just added that. And then I also have the other things where I'll be in St. Louis and Kansas City and Providence and Pittsburgh, and then I'll be at Enchanticon in St. Louis as well. The schedule has been posted for Enchanticon, so if you want to see some of the stuff I'm doing, you can check that out there. But yeah, you can get tickets to the show for the Newest Olympian at thenewestolympian.com/live, or you can get tickets to everything at Shubs, SEHUB.ES/tour.
Cool.
So we have a great interview and enough basketball things to discuss that we're just going to get straight into full court press rather than do a Q&A. But let's do full court press. Get it like the news?
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty. So as we record this on June 12th, the finals are raging on, and the Pacers have just shocked the world by going up 2-1. So many people picked the Pacers to lose in 5 games. That is now impossible. And it's been very interesting.
Tim McLaughlin's bet of Pacers in 6 that he keeps risking his money on.
I mean,
doesn't look terrible right now.
Does not look terrible. I think it's going to be interesting. And we've been really breaking down the games in our little Patreon things where we do like a 15-ish minute recording after each game. So if you really want to hear us get into the nitty gritty, join any tier of the Patreon and you can hear and see our thoughts because they're video uploads. But it's interesting. I think part of you can say, oh my gosh, the Pacers are legitimate. Here we go. Everyone's doubted them, but like they're a team of destiny, or they're just really good and underrated. On the flip side, the Thunder were in this exact position against the Nuggets. Like it was almost game for game, sort of like crushing defeat in game 1, huge win in game 2. I don't know the score of game 3, but they lost game 3, I think by like 10-ish points. Like it's weirdly mimicking that series. And then the Thunder won in 7. So I could see that exactly happening.
Yeah, I think, that's kind of where I'm at, is like intellectually, I think as the series stands right now, I see Thunder in 7. But I do still, I would not bet on this series for a lot of reasons, but it does feel like the Pacers are playing with some sort of like magic potion that cannot be explained. So, I would say we're going to focus mainly on the drama part because, as Shubes alluded to, we're doing more of the basketball-y part on the Patreon. But I mean, this series began with another impossible Pacers comeback and Halliburton game winner, which he has now done every single round of these playoffs.
Ridiculous. And then a funny thing was that Mike Breen had to basically issue an apology bang in the beginning of game 2, which was so stupid.
That was
Mike
weird.
Breen is not contractually obligated to give people a bang. And instead of a bang, like Tyrese made the shot and he still like got excited on the call. He was like, whoa, Halliburton. It's not like he was like, Joe Buck on the Aaron Boone home run and was like, Tyrese Halliburton makes, baseball reference for me. Tyrese Halliburton makes the shot. Like, no, he still got hype as hell. He just didn't say the word bang. And then I guess the state of Indiana was like, where's his bang? So then he did a bang on Tyrese's first shot. But he did do, and I love this, he did a Mike Breen first quarter bang because as we've discussed on the pod, there's a different bang for each quarter. So instead of the bang for a fourth quarter, he did the bang for the first quarter.
This whole conversation would be very funny for someone to hear who doesn't know who Mike Breen is or what the context of that word is.
Mike Breen is the broadcaster, and bang is what he says when people make a shot. Just in case you're
I wasn't asking for context. I liked
But what if this is someone's first episode? They're like, what the hell is basketball?
Well, it's funny because for people who have like a signature thing, there's always a difference in like how hard they hit it based on the moment, which was always, so Marv Albert, who was a very famous commentator for many years, his thing was just saying the word yes in varying degrees of excitement. But it was funny because his first quarter yes, he would still do it, but it was like this very like almost under his breath, like, here's Iverson for 3, yes. But then later in the game, yes! So, yeah. But I get it only in so much as any Pacers fans watching know that Mike Breen calls the Knicks games and that he almost certainly would have rather seen the Knicks get to the finals. So I think they perceive it as like, oh, he's not giving the same love to the Pacers that he gives to everybody else because secretly, subconsciously, he's bummed out that
I
the
hope
Knicks
that's
are
not
there.
the reasoning because he is such an unbiased broadcaster. That's what I love about Breen and Clyde when they call Knicks games is that if the other team does something exciting, they get just as animated. And a lot of broadcasters, when the opposing team does something good, are so understated. And sometimes you're stuck watching the opposing team's broadcasters. So I hate it. We've been in it. But so there's been that drama. Of which was very silly. And then there's just the drama itself of the Pacers being up 2-1 and everyone doubting them. It's been the consensus pick that they were going to lose in 5, and now that's not going to happen. And we're going to have a game 4 in Indiana, which is also going to be hype as hell. It was very loud in the arena in game 3. I think this might be... Obviously, if the Knicks were in the mix, they would have a run in it. But like, definitely in top 5 loudest arenas, both of these teams are securely there. There's so many reports of the Thunder Arena being so loud that people like leave with their ears ringing and stuff, even for intense regular season games. So 2 really passionate fan bases.
And I actually think, that obviously this will be a little delayed by the time you're listening to it, but of the 3 games, I thought game 3 was the best so far, just in terms of like really close the whole way through. Very, very fun. Obviously, the Pacers pulled away at the end there. But yeah, by the time you all are listening to this, 5 games will have been completed because we've got game 4 Friday, and then game 5 will be on Monday. So if you're listening to this, it is technically possible that the Pacers have won in 5, which wouldn't that be a shocker?
That would be ridiculous. Now, there's other things going on in the world of drama besides the NBA Finals, and it is my beloved New York Knicks doing some potentially strange, potentially questionable, potentially genius coaching hire maneuvers. So as we did a live reaction to in our last episode, the Knicks fired their head coach Tom Thibodeau, which I do think was the right decision. However, they have not hired someone yet. They're doing what appears to be an exhaustive and very unconventional coaching search in that they are asking a lot of teams if their current coach could interview for the open Knicks position.
Yeah, man, I don't know what decorum is in the coaching and basketball world, but that feels not great.
So here's the thing. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Knicks fan, but I wonder how big of a deal or little of a deal this is, because could it just be something where the Knicks sent an email to all 30 teams and were like, hey, we're interviewing for a coach. Can we talk to yours? Because this is a thing that sometimes happens where you will interview a coach from a team and then you can like legitimately trade a coach. Like the Knicks would maybe have to like give up a draft pick for the older coach to get out of their contract and then join the Knicks coaching staff. So if you're a team that isn't super enthralled with your coach and you want to get some draft compensation back, sure, you check it out, because why not? We were going to fire that guy anyway.
I guess so. It just, maybe I'm missing the fact that this is like a commonplace thing, but like, I don't know, like as someone who's divorced, like when I got divorced, I didn't just like send out a mass DM to all of my married friends like, hey, you still happy?
I think it's more common to do it where you ask like 1 or 2 coaches, but the Knicks so far have been reported of asking 5. And then what happens is the team, to like show a good vote of confidence in their coach, makes a field day of leaking it to the reporters and being like, we've given them a firm no that we love Jason Kidd and we would die for him. So like, it's like a great PR opportunity.
I mean, Kidd would probably like to escape Dallas and go to New York, let's be honest.
It seems like he doesn't necessarily want to be there. So that's interesting. But I don't want Jason Kidd. So I'm glad that didn't work out. There's other thoughts where people are wondering, is James Dolan back in the mix? Because famously, James Dolan was very involved with the Knicks, and then we were very bad, and then he took a step back after we were increasingly terrible in the mid-2010s, and then we got good, and then he was distracted with the Vegas Sphere, and now the Sphere isn't as time-consuming as a project anymore, and the Knicks are good again, and the celebrities are back in the Garden. Is he back in the mix? So there's some thought of like, is this ridiculousness because of him? Is this ridiculousness like Leon Rose galaxy braining, knowing that none of this will work because they want to hire someone without a glitzy name like Johnny Bryant, who used to be the assistant coach and was an assistant coach last season for the Cavs, I think?
Right. That's a really good point, because it's like, as long as you can make the show that you pursued all the biggest names, then theoretically you can be like, oh, well, we tried with all those people, but that's weird too, because then the optics are like, this guy's our 10th choice. So I think,
but Johnny Bryant, the good thing with him, because that's who I thought right after the episode we recorded last time, I was like trying to think who it could be. And Johnny Bryant was a finalist for the Suns job. It was him and this other guy, Jordan Ott, who got the job. Of course he did, because he went to Michigan State, which is where Matt Ishbia, the owner, went. And like a lot of other people that work for his company that he owns, and then also the team are Michigan State people.
Interesting.
But when that was going on, it was like, oh, then maybe that's why they fired Thibodeau so quickly, is so that they could be like, yo, Johnny, come on back. So because Johnny has worked for the Knicks, there's a possibility where Leon's like, hey, man, James is doing his James thing again. We got to do this like pretend coaching search. You're still our number one guy.
Yeah, I guess as long as he knows that he's the top choice. You wouldn't want to present it as like, hey, everyone else said no. Are you still interested in doing this job? But the thing, I was just going to say, like, the Knicks coaching job is very desirable. Obviously, it's an incredibly high-pressure job, but, like, they're in a great position. They're a great team. They just got to the conference finals. Like, they should be ready to make a deep run. However, that also means that for the new coach coming in, whoever it may be, the expectation is get us to the NBA Finals or get us a championship, or you have failed. Because anything less than that is just getting the Knicks where they got this year. So I think it's an interesting situation, because the speculation initially was like, oh, maybe the Knicks will try to like get Jay Wright because he's the Villanova coach and he coached all the Villanova boys. That has been, proven to.
He said he won't come out of retirement to coach the Knicks, which valid. You do you, Jay. Enjoy your time.
But I think what's interesting to me about it is when they fired Thibodeau, I assumed it was because they had someone else lined up already. It's more interesting that they were like, no, we definitely don't want you, but we're then going to still do our full search to figure out who it is that we do want.
Yeah, that's what's strange about it. The timeline of it is strange, but I don't know. Maybe this is all like an appease James Dolan thing. Leon's doing all this stuff to be like, look, we tried, because maybe their situation was like, we want to hire Johnny Bryant. And then James was like, he's not a big name. We got to try big names. And then they're like, all right, let's interview all these people that they know they're going to say no to. I hope we just start asking everyone. At this point, like, ask the Heat about Spoelstra.
Ask Rick
the
Carlisle.
two coaches
He's not
in the
doing
finals. Yeah, like, just go to the finals. Then when the two guys are there shaking hands after a game, be like, hello. You guys want a new job after this season?
And also the whole like hire a big name coach. I don't consider the Oklahoma City coach a big name by any stretch of the imagination.
No one knows how to spell Mark Dagnall. Come on.
I don't. I didn't even know how to say it until just now.
So the other thing is that there was a report after all this like negative press that the Knicks have been getting. There was a report that says, it was from this reporter James L. Edwards, and then it says, quote, per league sources, Knicks know they're the only vacancy right now. Don't feel the need to rush, and that's why you see them canvassing the league, seeing who is available and who isn't. That might explain the noise the last few days. So yeah, like maybe they are just like, who cares? Because what's really weird about this is ever since Leon Rose took over the Knicks operations of basketball stuff, they were like super duper tight-lipped. Like no one knew the Mikal Bridges trade was coming. No one knew the Cat trade was coming. There's all like smoke screens around what we do on draft day. Like we don't do a lot of press stuff. So it's all like super duper tight-lipped. So for all of a sudden us to be like really, really telegraphing what's going on, I don't know what's up there. So I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Leon Rose because he's done a lot of good stuff since taking over. So like, I don't know. We'll just see what's up.
I think the Knicks are going to get Luka as a player coach.
Well, that's actually a great transition to the last thing that I wanted to cover full court press. Did you see the Don Nelson thing?
No. All I saw was that he was like hanging out at the finals and he looks very tan.
Yes,
and enjoying retirement.
Oh, totally. So Don Nelson won the 2025 Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award, and he came back to, I think they did it like in Oklahoma City or Indianapolis. Like it was part of like a finals like media day thing. And the reason he looks so tan is that apparently Don Nelson has lived in Hawaii for the past couple of years, has not left Hawaii for a couple of years. This is like his first time in the mainland in a while. He grows his own weed called Nelly Kush or something. And he's like super tan. He had this like big gold chain, this fresh haircut, and he gave this little speech thanking everyone for this award that they gave him. And like, he deserves it. He was an absolute legend across decades of basketball. But he used to work for the Mavs, and he wore a pair of Luka 4s to this press conference, his shoes, and then basically trashed the Mavs, being like, these idiots traded Luka and I don't support this at all. Like, so great. Like, fantastic. Like, win an award, come through, potentially being stoned or looking like you're stoned, tan as hell, or just be like, fuck my old team. Thanks for the award, guys. Bye.
I love to see the guy enjoying his retirement. He worked his ass off, so good for him.
He earned it. He absolutely earned it. So, yes, that will conclude Full Court Press Get Out Like the News. And now we will get into a very fun interview that we did a while ago with a person that is taking over the internet basketball waves and just making some really, really fun content out there. And it was a really interesting chat as well. It's really fun to peek behind the curtain with some of these basketball social media content creators like we did with Doug and now with Liz.
Okay, as previously mentioned, we have a very special guest on the podcast today. This person is responsible for probably my favorite basketball recaps that exist on the internet right now. We've got at Little Big Liz joining us from the internet into your ears right now. And this is a particularly fun interview because there's a cloud of anonymity hovering over us right now. We're not going to reveal Liz's true identity, but Liz, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. And how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about all things basketball for people that love maybe some basketball.
You know what? That is actually our exact demo.
Yes.
I mean, we're literally a podcast that's like, do you like basketball? It doesn't matter what the answer is because we're still going to make a show for you. Now, right now, this is going to be jarring and you might be confused because there's a lot of visual stuff going on, but we're going to insert one of Liz's most famous viral clips. So have a listen to that.
Fluffy head, reptar head, headband head. Got a new haircut. Hello, I'd like to play. I have no hair, I'm a baby. Steve Kerr here. Today I painted pretty flowers. Webinyan. That's 25 turnovers already by Embiid. Oh God. Oh, it only took his mom complaining to get him in. 2-finger rounds. He has nightmares about Draymond. Paul Gasol. A tiny guy. Webinyan. Sizzle time. Here, have a back rub. Birdman. I have athletic children. He said, let me show you about basketball. Strolled around town. It's gonna be hamsters. You're gonna regret doing that. Down the toilet. This guy just loves being fouled. Oh look, Grant Williams. Scottie Pippen. What are you doing? Smooch fingers. Field goal. Here, touch my hands. I just smooched him. Hello, you can come watch the game over here, but you got a bicycle to run the lights. What's that face? Oh, this is helpful for everyone. Rudy Gobert sucks. He's a paid actor, just told to look busy. Tony Parker. Swing, swing from the net of the court. Look at Kevin Durant shoot wonderfully. Oh, knuckle crackers. Spatula. Triangles in the eye. Got my poop walk going. I'm gonna play basketball and you're just gonna go over there and get out of the way. Voldemort, what are you doing there? Oh! Good night time! I love that Kevin Durant just like smacks his head like he's a child. Draymond, come out here. I want to know how you stay long so I can stay long like you.
Okay, so now that was from back in the days of the Olympics. When I asked you which one I should share, that was one that you mentioned. What about that particular clip speaks to you? Why are you so proud of that one?
I think, well, because obviously it's got a lot of views.
Sure.
One of the
2.1
the main
million,
reasons. But that was just such like an exciting game in general. Like I, for real, thought they were going to lose for a hot minute. And then to see them come back like so hard, it was insane. And love a good Steph night time. So
there's nothing better. Now, I have to say, and I want to be very clear, that this is a huge compliment, but I'm a comedian and I'm also a basketball fan, and I often feel that those two things are not as merged as they should be. And two of my great loves are basketball and very bizarre comedy. And you have figured out a way to combine those things and make them coalesce in a beautiful symphony. So I guess my question for you, to take it all the way back, is like, what is your relationship with basketball? What got you started in putting these out there in the world in the first place?
Well, honestly, it started because I would be watching basketball and I would listen to like what the announcers were saying and just kind of mock them. And my husband thought it was funny. It's fine. We can say I have a husband. I think it started as saying like my wife watches basketball, but so I'd be watching it. My husband thought it was funny, and like he'd have to run to the bathroom, and obviously, unless it's on NBA TV, which good luck if you can actually watch the game, it might be on TNT or ESPN, and you can't pause it. So I'd have to give him the play-by-plays while he was going to the bathroom. And it just kind of went from there. And then the first one he ever put out, actually, TikTok, it was on TikTok. It did really well. And I didn't know he recorded it.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, so it's genuine.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Most of this is like full on, this is just the thoughts coming out of my brain through the whole thing.
That's great. What I appreciate about them is that I also find a lot of announcers very annoying. So I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm super cursed with a beautiful blessing, which is that Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier do most of our games, and they are incredible. And then even some of the backup folks, when Breen or Clyde aren't doing a game, are great. When I have to listen to other broadcasts, it's really tough. And people say bizarre things, and I love that even in a recent one, I think in your most recent one, we're recording this on May 27th, you said something about like Doris Burke, like saying like it's all downhill from here, and you're like, where's the hill on the court, Doris? And it's like, man, things like that. But just like, there's so many little tiny things that announcers will say that if you're just watching the game, you're like, okay, sure, they're trying to get the viewer hyped. But when you take out like a second just to think about what they said, it's so bizarre. And I think that's what your videos nail.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Half the things they say, they're like, if you have heart for basketball, you're going to be really good at shooting the hoops. And it's like, what?
Things that are meant to sound profound, but really just don't mean anything.
Yeah. And I agree. Some of the broadcasters are just like, oh my God, if you ever watch the Golden State broadcasters, you're like, oh my goodness. They're so bad and so cheesy. So,
and just the most homer possible. I lived in Oakland for a while and would watch the games and such, and the announcers like, and just beyond that, like I want to watch Steph Curry play basketball because he's a phenom, and I want to be able to, brag to my kids that I got to see him live. And gosh, the Golden State Warriors announcers are just so unabashedly homeristic, and which is even worse when Draymond Green like murders someone in a game, and they're like, well, it kind of looked like the defender ran into the bullet, right?
Yeah. They're like, he only kind of gave him a chokehold. It wasn't meant to be like a real chokehold. It was just like a friendly one.
After which Steve Kerr is like, hey, give him a break. He has kids. And that's become a running theme on this podcast of like, oh, whatever you do if you have children, you're fine.
That's why I had a kid, is just so that I can just do whatever I want now.
People on the basketball court. And
it's so good. It's great. It's great.
Okay, noted, because I have a 6-month-old, so I can just start like,
congrats.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. You can commit crimes now. And
this is great. Good to know. I'll have to let them know.
Mm-hmm. Any flavor foul becomes a tech, and any tech becomes a common foul. So you're good.
And they're all the same.
Did you grow up a big basketball fan, or is this a more recent interest?
Yeah, I think I always no, I lied. I thought basketball was so annoying because of the shoes.
The shoes.
The squeaking of the shoes.
Sound of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the squeaking of the shoes.
Well, now I love
old
it.
Nike commercial must have haunted you.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I don't even notice it anymore. I would say recent-ish. I've watched it for a really long time, obviously, because my husband's a huge fan. So it's been a long time. Obviously, I like really watch it now because I'm doing so many games. Like, to start, I just like didn't know the teams at all. I just made them up. I thought everyone was the Grizzlies for the longest time.
And they were all Grant Williams.
Yeah, Grant Williams is like one of the best players around, clearly. And I seriously thought there was a team called the Seattle Salmons, and I think there should be.
That would be a good one.
Maybe when they finally get an NBA team back. That's
I'll petition to get it as the Seattle Salmons. I'll be the owner.
Yeah.
I know all basketball, clearly.
Well, but truly, I mean, obviously it's very funny to listen to what you do, but you also can't listen to it without being like, oh, this person really knows basketball. Like the references you're making are increasingly obscure, which is part of what's funny about it.
My mind is like a steel trap. So like if I hear a fact, it sticks with me, and that's a lot of the times what's going on. And I like immersed myself in it, and I just feel like I wanted to know all things basketball. So some of the things I'm learning, I'm like, obviously everyone knows this. Like, and it literally started with Jerry West. I was like, who's the NBA logo? I need to know. And then
I love that.
And I was like, oh, it's Jerry West. Like, clearly everyone knows it's Jerry West. And my husband's like, I don't think everyone knows.
No, I don't think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's fun the way you're describing it, both of you, actually. It reminds me of another anonymous NBA content creator, NBA Paint, who actually did this hat that I have. And it's a thing where, like, they do, like, pun-based paint, like in Microsoft Paint drawings of NBA stuff. And, you know, it's supposed to look like, I don't know how to say, like kiddish or like rudimentary drawings, but the way that they're made, it's like, you know, they're an incredible artist doing like this style on purpose. And I think that's the thing that comes through in the videos is by making fun of some of the things you do, you have to realize like only someone who is really watching these games and knows what's happening would think to make fun of something like the things that you point out. And I think that's a really fun layer of it for people like us who are obsessed with basketball. And then maybe even someone who might not know as much is just like, what she said was funny, and you don't need to have the layers. It's really fun.
I do think it's interesting too, like some of the comments that I say people like take so seriously when I was just like, why is it the Lakers and not the Lakes in one of my videos? And people were like giving me a history lesson. I'm like, guys, I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So
now,
it's interesting.
I have a question about the process of it, just like in terms of literally making the reels. Are you just like always filming the game and doing it live? Is this like after the game is over, you rewind it? Like, how do you actually get from watching the game to making the clips that show up in the videos?
It's live majority of the time. Now that I do have a 6-month-old, it's if it's on TNT Max, we can watch from the beginning. So basically the household just goes dark on all social media, so we don't know what's going on. And like internet in general. And yeah, that's basically it. It's all literally, I'm just speaking through the whole game. And it's an interesting process. I'm sure if anyone actually, everyone's always like, do it live. I'm like, you guys would be probably either bored with me or be like, shut up. Too much.
No, I feel like that's the zenith of where this could go. Like how there's like a Manning cast where the Manning brothers do the whole football game. I think a Little Big Liz cast could be, I think you'd get some numbers on that.
Yeah, maybe one day. But I feel like to do that, I do have to not be anonymous, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah. Do you
right? And also maybe not have a 6-month-old at that exact
that
moment.
literally screams. He makes appearances. Like people have noticed. They're like, I love the baby screaming in the background. And I'm like, I mean, BabyFace Jones featured by my son, actually. Like any baby noises you hear for him is my son. So.
Great. So do you just have like one giant file and then you try to find the best bits from it, or how do you get to like deciding what ends up in the final product?
So I don't think I'm funny, but my husband does, and he does all the editing. So he goes through and edits in this whole little room that he has, and he edits it and he finds the funny clips and lines the footage and does all of that. And I'm like, do you want me to help? I can help. And he's like, no.
Well,
you're the talent, babe.
Yeah. He's like, just go watch the game.
Let me just say, if I have any authority as a professionally funny person, you are funny, and you're wrong that you think you're not. But also, I guess that kind of answers my question, and answer as vaguely as you would like to. But like in your day-to-day life, do you work in comedy or in entertainment in any capacity?
No. I guess it's okay to say I worked in finance.
Oh, wow. Very different.
That is very different.
I was in finance. I actually don't work anymore. I am just a stay-at-home mom, which probably makes this
also
even more funny.
There's no just about it.
Gosh, it's so tough.
It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like it's kind of funny because like people say for one, they question my voice if it's real. Unfortunately, this is my voice. But they say I slur a lot, and I'm like, whoa, lisp. Okay, sorry. I have not been drunk for any of those.
Yeah.
It does kind of have a drunkish cadence. I don't think I picked up on that, but you're right.
Yeah, it does.
People might think that.
It's just because it's off the wall. So
Yeah.
yeah. So no, not drunk, not real voice. Some people think I'm a man with AI, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get messages all the time that are like, "What do you look like? Are you a guy?" Or it's like, "Hey, man." I'm like, "What?" But I'll take it, I guess. But yeah, it's just it's a weird thing. I'm sorry. I feel like I kind of just went on a tangent there.
No, not
related
at all.
to what
I was just
you guys
you're very funny. So I was curious if it's something that you
worked
had
in
done
finance,
in any capacity.
no comedy. I don't think I'm very funny, but I guess the internet thinks differently.
The internet does. Yeah, I would be curious to know if any of your former finance coworkers have come across those videos and they're like, "Wait, is that Liz
no
from?"
So I do have a very distinct voice. I'm aware. I'm actually originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and nobody else in St. Louis has this accent. I don't know where it came from.
I did detect some Midwestern. I will say that. As someone who grew up in Illinois, I picked up on that.
Well, and I've gotten Chicago before. It's my A's and it's my whininess and my nasaliness, I guess. But when I get excited, it gets even worse. Like, I can't help it. But I had a few friends at work that knew about the podcast, and she went to my page and saw people at my company followed it, and they're like, she's like, "I don't think they know that's you." And I'm like, "Oh." And she's like, "Can I message them and ask?" And no, none of them knew it was me. They were just following the page, not knowing that it was their coworker. So
I'm telling you, show business is so stupid that this is like, even though you've worked in finance and perhaps don't even have any ambitions of like being in entertainment, you're going to get a job as like a voice actor. Like, you're going to be in like a rebrand of Marcel the Shell, and some producer will have heard
Marcel.
your videos and been like, "I don't know what's going on there, but I like that voice." So
yeah,
here's millions of dollars.
Okay, let's petition for Marcel or salad fingers. Like, I'll do salad fingers for sure.
Oh gosh, nothing better than salad fingers. So creepy, but so fun.
You talked about getting weird comments from people. Have you ever, because sometimes with Reels, we had Doug Burns, the guy who does the Knicks medal recaps on, and like every now and then a huge Knicks fan or player will like get in the comments and be like, "This is great." Have you had anyone from the basketball sphere, anyone related to the NBA, see any of these? Like, has Rudy Gobert seen your comments about him?
No, I think he might block me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of his thing, right?
That is his thing, yeah.
I had true. Little shit. Yeah, I had Aaron Gordon like one of my videos.
Cool.
Which was really cool. I jokingly put up a story of a halftime show of people like dressed in business wear, and I tagged Jaylen. Oh, I always mix it up.
One
Celtics,
of the
Jalen's.
Brown. Jaylen Brown.
Brown. I always want to call him Jalen
There's
Green.
so many
It makes more
Jalen's.
sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
There's too many
Jaylen
Jalen's.
Brown. I tagged him in it, and he watched it, and I'm like, oops. Because it was just like people dancing around in like business gear, and I was like, oh, this is business Jaylen. And he watched it. And then I think one of my like coolest follows would probably, it's basketball-ish, is Kirk Goldsberry follows.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a basketball writer and graph maker and super nerd. And
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think Adam Amin follows you as well.
Yeah,
He's the
and
Bulls
that
commentator,
he does. All of the basketball people follow me. I'd actually have to look because I like see them. And for the longest time, I didn't follow anyone. And then people, not basketball related, but one of my coolest follows is Questlove. Love Questlove.
yeah.
Very fun.
Love him. Saw that, and I was like, "This is the best day ever." And I'm like, should be more excited about the basketball people, but
Oh, come on.
that's
Questlove's
really cool.
Come on. That rips. That rips.
Yeah. And then there's one more guy. I love him. He's so nice to me. And his Instagram is Jacoby Juice. And he has like a pretty big podcast, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, those are and I think one of.
Interesting.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Are we your first media request, or have you been doing?
Yeah,
other
you're my
interviews?
first one.
Hell
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I lied. A basketball player does follow me. I forgot. Mo Wagner.
Oh, Mo
Wagner.
Wagner. Wow. Orlando Magic's own.
Yeah, because everyone knows that team.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Biggest team around.
And it's only a matter of time before Franz Wagner hops on.
Yeah, I'll have them both. Twins.
Yeah.
Follow me.
When you were learning the team names, what was the one that you thought surely was pretend? Like, there's some, was it Lakers? Like, is there one where it's like, no, this is the team? You're like, that's a lie. There's absolutely no way a team is called this.
I don't think it was so much that I didn't believe that they were the names. I just thought that they would be other names.
Oh, okay. Like you have punch-up suggestions for all the teams.
Or like you show me a logo and I'm like, that's clearly the Dallas horses.
Instead of the specific horses.
Yeah. Like, why are we being so specific? Why can't it just be all horses? Speaking of horse,
Sure.
do you guys like to play horse? Because I was more of an around the world girl, but...
Around the World is great. I would be curious to know what rules you played with, because I feel like there's some debate. Was it always like, if you make it, you move on, and if you miss it, you can either stay where you are or take one more chance? What is...
I'll be right back.
No.
You guys can keep going. I got to grab something for Kelly and then maybe BRB.
He's got a small baby, too.
Yeah, my nanny has my baby.
Nice. What's your Around the World format?
I played with my brothers. I did not get to shoot again. There's no way. If I miss, they're like, you're out. You don't even get to play anymore. Like, one shot for you and you don't get to play.
Did you grow up playing in any, like, actual official capacity or no?
No. Okay. Yeah, the official street basketball.
Sure. Yeah. Car.
Yeah,
Game
car.
on.
Everyone move. Oh, no, the basketball went in the backyard. I had to go get it.
Yeah, no, that'll happen.
Yeah.
Wait, if you're willing to divulge, and perhaps you've just taken on the team your husband roots for, do you have a favorite NBA team?
I like all the teams for the most part. I don't really have one that... I think I lean maybe Warriors and Celtics, but then I'm like, oh, well, I do kind of like the Knicks too because they have Jesus Jaylen, and he seems like the best Jaylen. And then I'm like, but there's more fun people on the Celtics, but then... out of nowhere, the Thunder, I'm like, well, there's two Jalens on this team, so I clearly have to like this team.
And there's two no Jalen Williamses, two dudes with the same name, which shouldn't be allowed.
That's Court Jalen.
One of them has to have a nickname.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. Court Jalen and a little less court time Jalen.
One of the hallmarks of this podcast is that I shoehorn in a baseball reference in every episode. And a fun fact is that there are two players in baseball, both named Max Muncy, which is like a weird name. Yes. And also they have the same birthday.
I didn't know that.
How does that happen? Yeah.
That's wild.
Very weird.
I didn't know that either.
I knew there were two Will Smiths, which is more believable that someone would be named William Smith.
That makes more
that's
sense,
way more common, but it's funny given that like there's a more famous Will Smith. But yet, when I heard there was a second Max Muncy, I was like, that's impossible. Because how is there one person named Max Muncy?
Yeah. It is odd.
It's funny. I dropped a baseball fact in my latest video.
Oh,
which one was it?
You might have, about Honus Wagner.
Oh yes, the Honus Wagner card.
Yeah,
and that's a deep pull too.
Yes, thank you. I did grow up watching a lot of baseball.
Okay, well I'm a Cubs fan, so I assume we'll be at odds.
Oh, because the Cardinals.
Yeah, I imagine if you grew up in St. Louis, that would be the team.
Yeah, it was all Cardinals. Yeah. But I hated going to baseball games. I was the worst Cardinals fan ever. Because I didn't want to be there. It's too hot, too long. And that's, I think, actually why I like basketball. It's quick. It's moving the whole time. Yeah. That's why it's like become my sport, I think.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you think you would expand into other sports, and if so, what they might be.
I did football. I did the Super Bowl one time. That's enough. That was too long. You think the last 5 minutes of a basketball game is long? Like, wait until you watch football.
True.
Plus, it's just like, no.
Yeah.
Probably not.
My girlfriend refers to it as Spandex boys.
Yeah. It's not it. Like, I don't want to just watch people just like running into each other and stopping every second. Like, it's too much.
You could do the WNBA where their season has just begun, and once the NBA playoffs are over is when their season's in full swing.
I know. I've thought about it, and I feel like I kind of rip on the guys.
I was going to say, you don't want to get into a Paramore misery business situation.
And I want to be a girl's girl. I don't want to seem like I'm like trying to pull them down, because I not that I want to seem like I'm pulling the guys down either, but it's just like, I feel like that's kind of a slippery slope. I watch the games, but I leave that commentary for myself.
I will say if there's any request I have, I think it would be very fun to hear like the next. Is it next year that the Olympics? No, the Olympics won't be for a while. But the idea of your commentary for bizarre sports, I feel like could be very fun. Curling's more of
team
a winter
handball,
thing, but, you know, break dancing, all
rhythmic
of that.
gymnastics.
Yeah, I've thought about it this past one. It's just obviously like the time differences make it a little hard. Especially like when it was in, where was it? In Paris and then LA. I'm in LA. That was quite the time zone change. Especially because we try to do it where we're like getting it like right after people have seen it. So that's kind of the only hard part with the Olympics.
It is very quick. Yeah. I feel like you get those videos up like really quickly.
That's my husband.
Credit to your husband.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing you could consider doing if you're looking for basketball stuff in the offseason, I think it would be fun to hear commentary on like old broadcasts and old classic games, because I'm sure like going through an old like 90s broadcast of a Jordan game would be absurd.
Well, you guys didn't do your homework because I already did.
No.
Oh, that's on me. So full disclosure, I absolutely like my brain does not like Instagram reels. Like I hate like short form like content like that. So I completely stay off of it. And because of that, Instagram and my Explore page like really has no idea who I am, and it like throws different things at me all the time. It's like, boobs? Do you want boobs? Oh, what about liquor? Like they're always trying to get me. So I don't watch a lot of them in general.
Totally fine. I did one Michael Jordan game back in the day. We thought about that, or like old like prime, not that he's not so good, but prime LeBron and prime Steph Curry games and stuff like that. Like doing those, which those probably will happen as like the season's off, and which makes our life a little easier because it's not as like quick. Again, having a 6-month-old makes
totally
things
for your
wild.
reference and for anyone's who is listening's reference, the NBA during COVID started uploading like classic games when there was no NBA on. And a lot of them were LeBron era games. And it would have things of like that famous game he had against the Celtics in the playoffs where he like went beast mode and there was the meme of it. So there's stuff like that to pull from.
Yeah. And you can watch it all on the NBA app if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. And you're not within 500 miles of whatever city the game is being played in.
In St. Louis, it's like here I can't watch the Lakers or Clippers. But in St. Louis, we can't watch the Grizzlies. And it's like, is anyone watching the Grizzlies?
Not really.
Shots?
Not really.
I was going to say shot fired, but maybe about the Grizzlies, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that's
you don't want to make John mad.
No. You talked a little bit about some of the fun like Instagram follows that you have acquired. Who would be like the ultimate follow?
Grant Williams.
Yeah,
I would love to know what he actually looks like.
Character.
Yeah.
He looks like everyone
everywhere.
And no one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which a funny story. On my TikTok, I kept getting tags about, have you seen Grant Williams' video? Have you seen Grant Williams' video? And I was like, what are you guys, who? Why? Apparently, my little following, I guess, went to him opening Pokemon cards, and we're just like, oh, look, Grant Williams. All like, that's like, there's like so many comments all over that video that's just like, oh, look, Grant Williams. And I'm like, oh my God, that poor man.
That's so funny. I wonder if he understands the reference.
I don't know. I hope so. I never tag anyone other than the one time I tagged Business Jaylen.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really and he did see it, so maybe I should start. But other than that, I'll take any Jaylen as long as it's a top 5 Jaylen. And like, I don't want the unknown Jaylens. There's like 100 of them in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where are your Jaylen power rankings at this moment?
Ooh.
It's still the same. You got Jesus Jaylen, and then you've got I don't remember where I ranked him. Court Jaylen. If you don't know who Court Jaylen is the one from the Thunder. Mm-hmm. Court Jaylen
we should probably translate all of these for listeners who are unfamiliar. So Jesus Jaylen.
Jesus Jaylen is Jalen Brunson.
As a Knicks fan, I'm honored and delighted.
He's like the best. Let's be real. He's so tiny and he's all around the court and he's still really good. Then Court Jaylen.
Which is Jalen
Which is
Williams,
Jalen
the better
Williams.
Jalen Williams on the Thunder. Jalen, Jalen Williams. And then
Yes.
third is business Jalen. Jalen Brown of the Celtics.
Jaylen Brown. And who was my 4? I think it was the young Jaylen. You know, the little
One
guy.
on the Rockets?
That would be Jalen Green.
What's his name? Jalen Green.
No, not Jalen Green. He's Junior Jaylen, the one on the Hawks.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, this is a fun experiment.
Hawks Jaylen.
Yes, that's Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson. Yeah. He's pretty good.
He's very good. He has a very promising career.
Yeah, and you got to give like the new young one some. I just don't think Jalen Green's that good. Overrated.
I would agree with you. I think he's very inconsistent.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go soon, but I do have a couple more quick questions for you. You obviously you now intimately know the style of many different NBA commentators. Obviously, we want to be a positive pod, but I'm not even going to say who do you dislike. Who are some of your favorite commentators to listen to? Like, who do you enjoy listening to?
I don't even think I know their names.
Well, so there's Mike Breen, there's Doris Burke.
I do enjoy watching the Knicks because I feel like they have the broadcasting voices. Like sometimes I'm like, it's like feels very old school, like broadcast, like deep voices. And it's like, this is fun. I do like Van Gundy. I think he's a fun listen. I don't know who he announces for. Is he just like national?
He's a national one.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a particular local market.
ESPN assigns him to, I think.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of their names.
No,
I can
enough,
make names up.
Are there any that
Sure,
in particular you think provide you with the most content? Like I've definitely seen you call out Doris for some stuff.
Doris gives me some content because I know this isn't very girl. I mean, I get it, like calling her out, but like some of the things she says, I'm just like, no. And then again, the Warriors announcers are just so corny that I'm just like, I can't. They give me so much content. That's where like having heart for basketball and these guys really like when they're a team and they play together, they're the best at the game, and it's like, oh my god, like we can leave that out.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming here for motivation.
Yeah, the one last night, and this may be outdated by the time you're listening to this, but we're recording this after Game 4 of the Wolves Thunder series, and she had a reference last night to Gobert dunking on Hartenstein and described it in the context of like France versus Germany, and Rudy says bonjour to it was a lot.
So corny. It was
bad. It's very forced.
I love Doris so much, and as more time goes on, I'm becoming more and more the minority, and I will stand Doris forever. I'm always such a fan. But I think I like love that she kind of like it's one of those things where like when you watch a 80s action movie and the villain is so like cartoonishly evil that it's just great. Like Doris is so purely Doris that when she goes full Doris, I'm all in on Dorising.
I mean, there's a reason she has a job. She clearly has fans.
Yeah. What were you going to say though, Liz?
Oh, I don't even know anything about her. Did she play in the WNBA?
Not in the W because
I don't think it didn't exist when she was at her peak, but she was a very good
She was a
basketball
hooper.
Oh, okay.
She's a hooper.
She's the logo of the WNBA, I heard. And I'll put that rumor out
What's
there.
actually the actual real story of who the WNBA logo is very interesting because it's like an amalgamation of multiple players.
That's dumb.
Where they like, I think it's like part Diana Taurasi, part, I'm trying to remember who the other ones, but it's like they intentionally tried to like blend some people without picking one. Yeah.
So
wait, but did they not have a logo initially? Yeah.
They did. They had a different woman player playing.
Like an actual?
And I don't know if the original one was based off of anyone either, but I can check it out.
We can't give the girls an original. Like we get Jerry West for the NBA, but for the WNBA, it's a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's a, what's the word? It's like, part this, part that, Centaur or something.
Yeah, Centaur. Yeah.
Anyway, well, Liz, we've taken up enough of your time. We really appreciate you coming on. Your content is amazing and hilarious, and you're very funny, and your husband does a great job of editing. Is there anything that you would like to plug other than your Instagram channel?
Not really. Just watch it, continue to enjoy it. I'll do my best to keep being funny, but again, I don't think I'm funny, but I'll let my husband decide on that for everyone. But yeah, no, not really.
Amazing.
I wish I had something to plug.
No. That's perfectly all right. And yeah, that's all we got. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to this episode of Horse. Horse is hosted by Adam Amawala and Mike Schubert. Our editor is Kensei Saramaki. The music is by the team from Bamanas. The art's by Alison Wakeman. The website is by Kelly Schubert. And the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer-level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry for 3 more seasons.
Bang, bang, bang.
Jason Derulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a Vampire, Chelsea's Cousin Ginger, Spurs Boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furli, and Utah Jash. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because
Horse Hoops bet Thunder in 5. And not happening.
No. Hey, Grok, is that bad? Yes, it is bad. I hate that with all my heart.
The only good thing about Grok is when right-wing idiots ask Grok about something, hoping for one answer, and then they get a different answer. That's the only time it's
Hey,
good.
Grok, could you tell me something else that aligns with my ethos?
Yeah. Hey, Grok, is Elon Musk doing a good thing here? No. He's not.
But he is doing ketamine. You can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to the many things that we discussed today and some fun NBA Finals highlights and, of course, some content from @LittleBigLiz because you kind of do need to see it to appreciate it. It's great even without, but you do kind of need to see it. So make sure to check that out.
Yes, and if you want to support the Horse Boys, you can go to patreon.com/horsehoops. That's where you get our every single finals game recap video post. Any tier gets access to that, but you'll get other bonus content there. And you can also get Horse Hoops merch at horsehoops.com/merch, where you can get stuff like shirts and digital stuff, and it's super duper fun. But we're going to conclude this episode by saying something on the count of 3, as we always do. Do we want to cheer for this thing to go 7 now that
I think
maximum basketball?
We actually did that
the
last time. We counted to 7 and then manifested 7, but maybe we need to do it again because it does feel likely.
Okay, then let's do it. Let's go. We'll say 7 on. Oh, here's what we'll do. When I was playing basketball stuff, one of my favorite things to do in intramural basketball was we go, okay, 4 on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do 7 on 6.
Okay, I understand.
So
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, it would be great. Maximum basketball, please.
What is better than an NBA Finals Game 7? Really, any series going Game 7.
An NBA Finals going Game 7 with the Knicks in it or the Bulls in it, and then that team winning.
That is true. And also, I believe, isn't it this year for the first time ever, it will be henceforth a WNBA best of 7 rather than best of 5?
I think so. So, yeah. Okay, yep. So the Storm or the Sky in there, too.
Didn't that happen? So we could get our first one this year.
Come on, let's get it.
But realistically, Lynx Liberty Game 7.
What if the MNBA and the WNBA both went to 7 this year? Come on. Maximum basketball in both leagues?
As
Great.
for the Stanley Cup, we don't care. But if you do,
I've heard it's good,
enjoy.
though. I've heard it's good. Florida and Edmonton, go one of you.